Awesome. Looks like everything's working here.
I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out.
We manifest so much success, so much excess. Might just take a trip to rest. On private jets, got our own private chef. We never stress, reaching for the check, sign it with our breath. We came to live it up, cause we might just live this like once. So we ain't stacking them ones. Finer things, diamonds, and it's glisten when I listen. So everything I hear is coming in crystal clear. It's the attitude of gratitude and abundance. Attracting bundles of hunters, the new #1 stunners. Caviar in our stomachs, reservoir our funds done runneth over. And it just keep coming, that don't even do it justice. Miss some haters in our rose-colored aviators. We don't read the daily paper, compound like 80 acres. Everything we do is major, nature boy like Ric Flair. Wager you would do the same after you had been there.
I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. We can make it rain, dropping dollars from an airplane. Roadies on our wrists, living life in the fast lane. Popping lots of champagne, girlies on our laps, man. Tugging at our gold chains and trying to eat our plantain. You know we got rocks, gold stashed like it's Fort Knox. Started life with hard knocks, but now we own about 4 blocks. Gator shoes with no socks, sailboats at 8 docks. Markets close at 4 o'clock, but we keep making non-stop. Make money, money, make money, money. We travel so damn much, every day is sunny. Wake up in Bali, goddamn I'm feeling lucky. As we end the night in Hong Kong, drinking bourbon from Kentucky. Never fearing death, cause we live a charmed life. Always outsmart all these haters, cause we keep our game tight. Cause we travel around the world like a satellite. And we keep the party going like every single night. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in this world. Welcome, traders and wine enthusiasts, to the first episode of the Pinkies Out podcast. Start off by putting my pinky out and taking a nice big drink off this glass here. My name is Brandon Potter. I am one of your hosts here on our wonderful podcast. I would also like to introduce my good buddy Dominic here. Want to say hi to everybody out there, Dominic?
What's going on, you guys? How are you?
We all hope that you're doing wonderful out here. I think that let's just start off really quick, talking about the current state of the market. Where are we? Kind of what's going on with it. And then after we talk about the market a little bit, we'll tell you a little bit about our history and kind of what we're all about here. So we'll just start off taking a look at coin market cap. Really sad number to see, $204 billion. We were so close to $1 trillion at one point in time, but you know what? That's just kind of how life goes sometimes. Poor Bitcoin, just kind of holding steady. 0.01% today. We can talk a little bit about what direction we think that everything's going to go in when it comes to Bitcoin in the near future. And of course, Ethereum still just getting absolutely slammed. Dominic, why don't you start off telling us a little bit about your history with just wine and crypto? I mean, how long have you been investing in cryptocurrencies for?
So to be quite honest with you, probably just, I mean, right around the time that you and I really got introduced, maybe over a year ago, right around the time that everything was stagnant. I remember when Bitcoin was like, I mean, I was going to invest in Bitcoin back in, I think, 2010, which I'd have been absolutely belligerently rich now. But unfortunately, I did not do that. And I made the move to stick to just hoarding my cash instead. I started throwing a bunch of cash into Litecoin and a few other ones. Actually, Verge was the one that I threw the most money into last year, as when you told me to do that. And I got to experience the bull run through the end of the year, which yielded me a substantial amount of money, about $250,000. And like most people, you sit there and you don't know what you're doing as a trader, and you have no idea what's happening or what you're involved in whatsoever. And so then you just kind of lose everything as you go.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point that I really wanted to bring up. I mean, a lot of this podcast is going to be about risk management and knowing how to capitalize on gains, because really, no matter what that dollar sign says in your blockfolio, it really isn't real actual money until you make it real actual money sitting inside of your bank account. So just something to consider when it comes down to everything. And I know, obviously, we like to drink with our pinkies out, whether that's a nice beer in a wine glass or a delicious wine. I know that you yourself have a lot of experience when it comes to fine wine and dining. Tell me a little bit about your history with wines, and show us a little bit of your collection as well.
So for the collection, I work in a restaurant right now. I'm the ambassador for a restaurant, and I do wine. I'm not necessarily the som per se, but that's just certifications. And in the world of crypto and tech these days, I don't think we necessarily need them. I just picked this up. It's like a $2,000 wine fridge. I picked this thing up for $500 through a nonprofit organization. Kind of cool. It's kind of bare, and I'm still moving some of my other wines in here. I love wine. I'm rewriting a wine list right now. I thought it'd be really fun to kind of incorporate a lot of wine and drinking into this stuff. I have some friends that want to do sponsorships for everyone that's involved in crypto. I think it's pretty easy to get caught up in having a few drinks here and there to ease the pain as we're going through this current market, because it hurts a lot sometimes and wine doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, I just really feel like we're all here for each other, and we're here to ease the pain that comes along with being in this market sometimes. So
yeah, this has been a trip this year. I can't really believe that I was sitting looking at my computer back in January thinking to myself, nah, it's cool, you're down like $100,000, it's gonna go back up. And so, like you were saying earlier, the whole point of this for me is I'd love to talk about some wines and things that are fun to get people's minds focused on other things. So I'll teach you two things at once. It's fun to have a drink while you listen to people talk, and it's more fun to, like you said, learn how to manage your money and not lose it like most of us have. So
yeah, and that's the other thing too. I mean, we're not financial advisors, but we also spend a good portion of our lives talking about, researching about, and interpreting what comes up in the market and with crypto. So we're happy to have you join us. It's something that we're really excited. I mean, we do this for you guys as well as for ourselves. So any interaction that we get from you is something that's really, really special to us. So myself, I've been into the cryptocurrency market since I got my first tax return last year. I just lucked out, and I ended up putting all of the tax return into Antcoin, which most people don't really know what that is, except for the fact that it's now called Neo. So most people don't understand what that is. And I had put it in at around $4 a coin, and I sold it around $46 a coin when it just spiked in the beginning of the year. I want to say it was around June or July or something like that. And from there, just kind of worked my way up from literally $2,000 to my absolute maximum was 180,000 from 2000. That's how big that bull market run was. I mean, it was absolute insanity. I had two big moves. I had been pushing you on Verge. I mean, that was the best advice I ever gave you. I was like, go buy 1 million Verge now. And you're like, how much is it? I'm like, $5,000.
Yeah, $5,000 to make almost a 250. You know, it's funny now that we're talking about this. I'm thinking back at what I had back then. I mean, you and I owned B2X at one point through the rush of that. I remember hit BTC going down and losing $20,000 in one trade.
I lost
Litecoin
50
was going
on
crazy.
Tron, dude. $50,000 on Tron. Like, oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would like to this year. Now that, I mean, obviously we're you and I've been working together for a while now, and we're figuring out how to definitely make money in the bear market. And that's another thing that is good for anyone that's watching this to know. I wouldn't say that either of us are pro traders by any means, but we are definitely good at collecting information,
Yeah.
assessing it, and now we want to redistribute it so that we can not only teach ourselves but teach other people where we're at now. I feel like most of the stuff that we know at this point is what a majority of people don't know.
Yep.
And you get that through failure and losing, and there's no other way around that. You just have to lose. I mean, no winners really can give you advice if they haven't failed.
Yeah, and we were just we were recently talking about the current state of Bitcoin right now, and this is something that I've really been getting into. Oh, that's a real bummer. I don't have all my normal charting stuff here. I'll get that fixed in the future. It's because I'm incognito right now, so I'll get that fixed going forward. But there's a lot of stuff that I can do in here. It just won't look the way that I'm normally used to it here. And then in my settings here, is this where I set my night mode? Oh, there we go. Yes, please. Thank you. Like it a lot darker than I like it wider. So currently right now, we're sitting right here. And it was like I was telling you earlier, it doesn't quite look like it on the daily as much, but when you kind of go to the 4 hour, here's the really dangerous thing with Bitcoin right now. It's the volume drop off right here. The reason that you're able to see moves like this, see all this volume here, every single time that we have big amounts of volume, it's red. It's not green. And if you look, all these times that we're green, we're sitting on pretty low volume. Here's the one lone exception right here. What it does is it invites more downward movement. And where are we going to go with this kind of stuff? I really, as we have discussed, see this giant triangle forming. And if you look at where the bottom is right here, coming across, you take out that one overreaction spike, then we're really seeing that we're getting to the end of this triangle, but we also see that we're going to come down here and retest the 5,800 one more time. I don't really like to predict the future. I'm not a big fan of predicting the future when it comes to stuff like this, but I really think we're going to see a lot of sideways consolidation down here. And the reality is, I truly believe that in October, we're going to be done with this fall, but it also doesn't mean we're going to be in this crazy bull run through the rest of the year. I actually think we're going to see a lot of sideways movement until we see some of this technology implemented, which really, if I was going to put a guesstimate on when we're going to see lots of pickup and a start forward and a start to recovery, my best guess would be April of next year. I don't know what your thoughts are on everything, Dominic.
About the same. I feel like last year we saw, I mean, December was absolutely crazy, and then January, and one thing I've learned too for everyone out there is there's always going to be an excuse for why the market's crashing and why everything's going down. There's always something new coming out, and honestly, I don't think most of it means anything. I think that this year, regardless of Asian holidays, I don't think that January is going to be the worst month. Like it definitely started to decline last year. I think that by probably March, January, February, March, April, we'll see the most headway, because I'm assuming, and I mean, it doesn't matter right or wrong, that the SEC is going to approve that ETF probably in February. Because I mean, I can't see it happening sooner. Can you?
No, but here's a funny thing. I saw a rumor yesterday that they already are going to approve it this month.
See, and then that wouldn't surprise me either, because it's just like it's everything in this field is everything that everyone's thinking. It's always the opposite.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that was so funny. So just to bring it up, I know it's one of the topics we want to cover. The state of Ethereum. I saw a CNBC article yesterday just talking about how Ethereum is going to go in the crapper, and it's just absolutely wrecked, and it's the end of Ethereum as we know it because of everything that's going on. I was just thinking to myself, man, CNBC saying it's the end of Ethereum, we're about to go on a big recovery here with Ethereum, and that's just something that I immediately was thinking about, how that affects all these other coins that we're interested in that are tied to Ethereum.
Well, the media is your friend and it's your enemy too. I mean, when everyone in the world is saying, jump off the boat, everyone wants to jump out of Ethereum, and then it's like, watch how everyone with money sees blood in the streets and they're going to buy it up, and then you guys are out of your positions and you're stuck up shit's creek. There's just nothing you can do.
Oh,
So why sell for loss?
totally.
Sit tight.
Totally. And it's so funny because it really is your friend in this particular case, because what that is, those articles are what every Tom, Dick, and Harry is thinking at that exact moment in time, and they're always late to the party, right? So in crypto, you want to sell on rumor, or you want to buy on rumor, and then you want to sell on news. So when the news is telling you that something's doing something, do the exact opposite. Do yourself a favor, and
Correct.
you'll be real happy with the results that you get. You'll have a lot more money.
Correct. Case in point, Verge's last announcement, and I know that probably most people that listen to this are going to hate Verge, because Verge is like the most hated currency for God knows what reason. I mean, I totally understand the reasons, but
oh, dude, I do too. But it's got a special place in your heart, especially just because
it does. It made me a lot of money, but I think that anything that makes money, like you were telling me the other day, that made the most sense. Anything that makes money, I mean, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's making money. So I mean, that's the most important part, is it's making money. And I've noticed that every time Bitcoin moves, you're looking at about a triple increment increase in Verge. So if Bitcoin is positive 5% or negative, Verge is typically floating around 15 to 20% increase or decrease. And so if you can see that, then you can anticipate what's going to happen, and you can make moves like we did last night where we sold a bunch. And we could buy right now, and I could buy probably double what I sold last night, just because of how I played this out in the buys and sells since then.
Yep. And we've got kind of different strategies. I mean, I know that you are holding on to positions and strengthening these positions as time goes on, whereas like me, I went all into USDT last night, just to protect everything and wait for the next opportunity for a rebound. So really,
Smart. It's a better move.
There's honestly. No right, no wrong. So I wanted to call you out a little bit. I really liked your shirt. I wanted you to show everybody your shirt that you have on.
Dude, you're gonna be a stormtrooper, you might as well surf, bro.
Oh my god, dude. I'm such a huge fan of your shirt. It's so cool. So very cool.
Thanks, dude.
It's like the new nerdy chic.
Yeah, I'm just holding it down for my troopers.
My troopers. Is that what we're gonna call people on this? Our troopers.
Yeah, man. I mean, the people. Yeah, anyone that wants to watch this, you're a trooper. If you're still learning in this market, if you're still trying to hang on, or if you're just getting into it, you are a trooper, because this will test your patience in a way that I did not know patience could be tested, and you'll learn a lot about yourself. I've learned that I personally can weather a storm pretty damn well compared to most. I mean, I know a lot of people that got in with me and have gotten out and sold the complete losses, which is where we've learned how to turn a lot of these losses into quick plays, or we're making money back. I mean, if you're making a couple $100 a day, even if you're at a smaller amount, if you're making $50 a day, you're making money. It doesn't matter how much you're making. If you're making money, you're making money. And I mean, that's the point, right?
Yep. So I think that what we had been talking about, a breakout soon and things of that nature, as we had kind of mentioned, the good news is that the downtrend is going to be over soon. Now, breakout is a subjective term. I don't know if we're necessarily going to see a breakout in the near future, but I'm really looking forward for this cross to occur. This window is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, more and more and more compressed, with the gaps between the top and the bottom, to the point where I'm really excited to just get some big movement here. I know here's a good question for you. I know there's a lot of people talking about Bitcoin going down to like $3,000. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts personally are pretty much what you and I have discussed. If you look at the channel, it depends on how you chart your lines, but yeah, I mean, you can see it getting down to that point, but because of the mining costs in my head and in my heart and in my soul, I just don't see it happening, because that financially wouldn't make sense for this entire operation. However, you brought up a really good point, and Bitcoin is notorious for doing it, a flash crash.
Yeah.
So that's when all of a sudden you wake up in the morning and you're like, man, I was so green yesterday. And then all of a sudden everything is offset, and you look back and you have a solid needle all the way down, your little knife. Yeah, I think that you can absolutely maybe hit that and then bounce back, and it'll happen so fast.
Oh, dude, it'll happen instantaneously. You'll see it happen, and I swear to God, you'll see it happen in like
I can't imagine
under 3 hours. Like, yeah, in under 3 hours, they would just be what it would be is a last shakeout of all the longs. All the longs. I mean, people would just short it so hard, and it would shake out all the longs, and it would just flash crash down to 3. And next thing you know, you're sitting at 57, 56, 5,800 right in that area, like instantaneously. I mean, I I couldn't even. The other thing that's funny too, though, is I was talking to my buddy about this today. Uh, it's hard for a lot of people to remember. Bitcoin was at $1,250 last year. I mean,
I remember.
yeah, that was the
And I was
bottom,
still
I think.
debating buying in.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was down, man. And I remember getting hurt big time too, because the the Chinese, they're banning Bitcoin, and I'm sitting on a bunch of Neo, and it just crashes, and it was like the first red Sunday that I ever remember hearing about, and it was just a nightmare. I mean, we lost like 20% in one day, and now I'm so immune to that stuff now. It's just,
Yeah, no, the 20% down, 20% up in a day doesn't hurt anymore. And speaking of that, I think that as we, and the reason why I said shorts as well, as we get closer to the end of this triangle that we're ricocheting off of, I think it's just going to be like spinning down a sink. I think you're going to get more and more violent.
yeah.
I think that you're going to see people shorting, and all of a sudden we're going to look at this blast up and hit the top of the triangle, and then people are going to get wrecked, and then it's going to blast down probably outside and below the triangle, and people are going to get wrecked. I can just see this becoming a bloodbath towards the end, and a lot of people are going to get shaken out. A lot of people.
Oh
So
man,
if you don't feel like trading in this area, it's probably best not to. Maybe hang on a little bit. I don't know. I gave up on not trading. I feel like we talk about this too much to not try to play in it. But I mean, it just depends on how much of a masochist you really are, probably.
yeah. I mean, that's one of the reasons that I like to sit in USDT and sit in Tether, because when you get these big movements one way or the other, you get an opportunity to play around a little bit with a lot of this stuff. It's an opportunity, especially when we're in the bear trend and we're going down, to be able to really, really be able to catch those rebounds and scalp off the top. As we just have, obviously, I have long-term holds as well, but it's definitely something where.
What are you holding long term right now?
Right now, I'm holding Kin long-term and Dent. I mean, those are going to be some names that a lot of people who follow up with us are not going to know a whole lot about, in all honesty. The reason I like them is working projects. There's so many cryptocurrencies that have no working projects right now. For those who don't know, Dent has a working app on cell phone. They are a broker of data for international travel. If you need to get data usage for your cell phone in another country, you're able to broker for that data third party and save a lot of money getting that data. And the true excitement for me is that a lot of people don't realize this, but data is used as currency in a lot of African countries, actually. So it's used as real actual money. People transfer like cell phone minutes essentially as a form of currency. And what this is going to do, they're going to come out with an exchange here by the end of the year. And that exchange is going to allow you to sell your unused cell phone data for cryptocurrency, which is going to bring a lot of people into the market. If you're in a poor country and you have a cell phone to survive and you're using it for work and you got some data left over at the end of the month and you can trade that for even 0.00001 Bitcoin, then you're in the market. And you start stacking stuff up, and then all of a sudden you're excited about trading, and you can trade your Dent for Bitcoin and your Bitcoin for Ethereum, and they have an actual exchange. And the next thing you know, you're bringing in some extra income, and as that grows, you have more money to play around. I mean, it's going to be a great gateway to get the average person who may not know anything about cryptocurrencies excited and in the market and making money, especially if they're in a country where they don't have opportunities to make a whole lot of money.
Correct. And I think that that's where we're going to see Kin probably play a big role. I mean, just the app alone is making it more exciting. It makes it more, it's a simplified version of how to use it and earn it. And it incorporates, cryptocurrency into everyday life just through advertisement. And I feel like that, like you were saying with Kick, it's going to be a really, really powerful tool to invite people into this world. I think right now, a lot of this is still very difficult. It's in the difficult phase. I mean, if you talk to anyone that does stocks, it's difficult, to explain, all right, well, here's what you do, and here's how you get involved, and here's what you got to do. Like, I used to make money. I used to charge people to set them up on Coinbase and Binance, build their account, show them how to transfer everything, give them my 2 cents on what they're trading, and then send them on their way.
Yep.
As long as there's a job like that still to be had, I mean, it's still probably too difficult for the average everyday Joe.
Yep.
I would like to see some of that hopefully erased here, and I would think that with that happening, the convenience, the simplicity of getting in and getting out will increase tremendously the amount of users in this field.
100%. And I should have done this earlier, but I wanted to bring up the dent chart just because it's actually available on Binance finally. It was,
Really?
oh yeah, there's quite a giant fiasco with everything that went on, but actually it's versus Ethereum. It's running really hard and really well right now. It's actually formed what, in a lot of cases, looks to be a cup and handle. The real only big concern with whether it's a cup and handle or not is it came up a little bit short of uh, topping and creating a full cup. However, it also is holding really well as the drops have been going on. It has been holding its value pretty darn well, and actually versus Ethereum, it went up 10% during the 20% drop, which was something that was actually really, really exciting to me.
It did hold well. It did hold well. We were talking about that the other day. It really did. What we can do too for everyone, if anyone out there is interested in kin, send us a message and we can absolutely do a video on how to get you involved in kin through Bandcore. I found is the easiest way for me, at least, and MetaMask. We can get you involved and show you how to do it, because I think you're right. I mean, you called Verge last year being a moneymaker, and my biggest regret, I mean, two, obviously, is that I put so much money into Ethereum, and don't get me wrong, I made money on Ethereum. I made a ton of money on Litecoin last year. I made money on Bitcoin. I made money on a lot of coins last year. But I wish I would have put all that money into Verge, and you called it the whole time. And so I'm thinking now that if you're calling kin for this, and I'm just using the app already, and I can see how this can be geared. And if you look at the app and how much everything is worth on the app, 500 kin is worth a $5 Amazon gift card. So 500 kin, $5 Amazon gift card. You can buy millions of kin right now for a couple $100. In fact, here, let me get on Bandcore. I'll tell you how much you can buy. For one Ethereum right now, you can buy 3 million kin, 3,128,306 kin. So if you have $500 to spare and you were to buy, let's say 6, just for round numbers, roughly, it would say 3 Ethereum, you can buy almost 10 million kin right now. Or what I've been doing every single day for the past maybe couple of weeks since the app came out is I've been just stacking, 50 kin, 12 kin, 15 kin here and there, just by clicking pictures and giving my 2 cents on what I like for advertising more. So, I mean, if that is the case and apples to apples on the money for what 100 kin is worth on their app, I mean, essentially, what were we saying? 1 million kin to a 10 million kin. I mean, it's gonna be worth what, 10 grand?
Yeah. And it'll happen at some point. I don't know how quickly it's going to happen, but there's one other thing that's really, really nice about kin is their goal is to be the most used cryptocurrency world by the end of this year. Now, whether they'll hit that goal or not, I don't know. It's going to come up to a few things. They're going to have to do an atomic swap where they're going to be able to trade kin 1 with kin 2. That's something that's not as confusing as it sounds when it comes to all this stuff. Really, what they're going to do is make it so that all of the kin that you earn in the application itself is going to be worth the same as the kin that you can currently buy on exchanges. And you're going to have an opportunity to be able to trade that kin for US dollars. And that's going to be important as well, because as they bring on these developers and you have people who want to purchase in-game items or purchase services inside of those applications, they're going to use real US dollars. And as they interact with those applications and they play those games, they're going to be rewarded in kin. And they're at times going to want to change those kin into in-game product, or at times going to want to change those kin into the actual currency, have an opportunity to make some money, and it's going to create a medium of exchange. It's going to create some value that increases as more and more people are using it and the network grows. That's one of the other reasons I don't think Ethereum is going to crash, because the network is growing. People use it. I know there's a difference between the coin and the network itself, but there's value in the amount of people that are using everything on a day-to-day basis. There's value in the size of the network. It's why do you think Google's worth so much dang money? It's because their network spans across the entire globe to almost every human being on the planet. The value is in the network and the amount of people that you can touch and interact with.
Correct. I agree with that. I do agree with that. I mean, they're still number 2 on CoinMarketCap too. What's really interesting too is I'm just looking at CoinMarketCap right now, and Verge is actually 39. And if you go to volume, it's also 39 in volume, which no other currency that I see here is doing the same. Really interesting.
You're looking at what are you looking at?
Oh, you know what? It's changed now. You can't even look at it. It was just a few minutes ago I was looking at it. Well, scratch that. Never mind.
You were looking at volume on Verge?
I was looking at volume compared to the market cap and what everything was doing, and it was the same on the two, but now it's completely gone. So I don't know what happened in the last 15 minutes we've been talking. Probably a lot. Maybe we should check. I'm interested to see what happens when they put Kin out there a little bit. I mean, once again, to go back to Kin and not trying to talk anyone into getting Kin, I mean, I think that it'll be worth a decent amount of money, but it's not even on an exchange yet. And that's one of the biggest things that I've noticed for any currency, for anyone that's listening, is if you find something that you think is going to be good and it's not on an exchange yet,
a major exchange,
the minute they put it on a major exchange, it's always just right up.
Yeah. I mean, when I told you to pick up Dent and then they put it on Binance, it went from 40 Satoshi to 140 Satoshi?
Yeah. And that's
overnight.
Case in point, too, for what we were talking about at the beginning of this, for anyone that's just getting involved with this, sell. Just sell.
Yeah.
You just made money. Sell. It's going to go back down.
It's going to go back down. They all do. Take your money.
Get out.
Run like a bandit.
If you're on Binance, Binance is easy. Sell the Bitcoin to US dollars. I think it takes less than 20 seconds to do. It's super easy. And then you can sit and tether when you're ready to get out of your actual money. Obviously, Coinbase is the only one that I really know of right now. I would love to see something else happen here with that. I mean, they're so damn expensive. It's really annoying. I just don't feel like meeting up with people on local Bitcoins to trade Bitcoins for cash, especially considering the market can completely tank or completely explode in under a minute.
Yeah.
So Tether is the best option. Litecoin seems to hold pretty well. You can always just drop into Litecoins quick right over to Coinbase and right out.
I'll see, is Kin in the top 100 still? It is number 100. Number 100. It's just been getting wrecked lately. I think a lot of it, if I was going to do my big conspiracy theory, is you have some of these big investors that have a lot of money in it, and they had some inkling of an idea that Ethereum was going to crash this hard, and the actual USD value of their millions and millions and millions of dollars of holdings was going to shrink so exponentially that they just moved it and just drove down the investment. I mean, we were sitting at number 59, I think, as high as number 59, not even a month and a half ago in Kin. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
I want to think that comes down to accessibility too. Kin is a harder one to buy. That's probably one of the more confusing ones that I've had to buy. I mean, obviously, for anyone that's just getting started into this, buying can be confusing, but when you're having to transfer to wallets that you're building into extensions on your browser, it does get a little bit more confusing.
Now, for simplicity's sake, the one thing that I have found that I do like, actually, if you do go to Bancor, which is the number one trader of Kin. I mean, it did 1.5 million in volume today, and 177,000 of that was Kin. Kin is the number one outside of their own exchange token that's used to house everything where you can get Kin. And one thing that is really simple with Bancor, if you don't want to get into the whole MetaMask scenario, you can sign in, put in your cell phone number. They'll give you an account with a wallet address. You can send Ethereum there, and then you can exchange the Ethereum right at the top. You can say, I want to receive Kin, and then you can enter the amount, say 20 Ethereum, and it will tell you how much Kin you're going to be able to get. And you can use your actual Bancor wallet. And from there, you can move it in. I would recommend that you move it into My Ether wallet or a MetaMask. It's going to make your life a whole lot safer when you're holding on to something like this. The only complaints I have with Bancor is they usually show you one number and give you another. They'll tell you that you're getting 613 million Kin, and then you get 579,000. You're like, whoa, wait a minute! I just lost 50,000 Kin. What the f just happened?
I lost a lot of Kin on my transaction, which is really interesting now because Kin would be. I mean, now if any would be the time to buy Kin, considering it's 1/4 of what I bought it for at the current time. So the same amount that I got now, you can get for 1/4 that price, which is pretty badass, honestly. But yeah, I definitely lost them when I bought. I remember that was the first thing I said to you when I bought it. I'm pretty sure I just lost quite a bit of Kin on the transaction. Why that happens, I don't know. If it's part of just the fees, I have no idea.
They call it slippage, but I think that they're shaving off the top, if you want my honest opinion.
You know what? Good for them, dude. Cheers to them.
Yeah, cheers to them. Wild, wild west of crypto.
Yeah, man. So one thing that we were talking about the other day that was really interesting for me was the Golden Cross. Is that still in play?
Yeah, so I actually was just looking at that not that long ago. I'm glad that I fixed everything here. I actually had to create an account to be able to stay logged into TradingView, which was tons of fun here. But right now, the the golden cross has turned to a death cross on Bitcoin on the 4-hour. But the good news is on the daily, we are just now getting to the point where we very well are just, we haven't had them cross since the death cross that occurred back in March of last year. We just absolutely took it in the shorts in March, and thank God for April. If only we were all smart enough to get out in April, right before Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo was like the day that everybody lost their asses. From that point forward, we have never seen numbers like that. Everybody's so excited. Bitcoin was up at 11,000, and then here comes Cinco de Mayo, and it just tanked all the way down to 6,400. That's 5,000, 50% losses over the course from I mean, it's just insane. So
yeah, it hurts.
The
I
good
remember
news
saying
is
when I got to X amount, I was going to take my money out, and then it was Y amount, then it was Z amount. Once you set up an amount, take the money out, dude.
Yeah.
Don't do the mistakes that I've made. I mean, I've definitely increased my positions by folds since then, but I'm still sitting at the mercy of the market.
Yeah.
And so I have these really good positions, and I have a lot of decent USD. But I'm not going to see anything like I saw again until we start seeing some massive climbing on Bitcoin, because it's mama. It controls everything.
Yeah, I think another important note with all that too, though, is that USD positions that you've come to hold are your own blood, sweat, and tears, as opposed to playing around in the market. And
critical. You hold them, and then it drops 50%. You buy back in, it goes up 10%. You sell out, it drops another 20%. Yeah. You're just making money all day. You held your money, you dropped, you made money, you bought back in, you sold. I mean, so crucial. And that's one of the biggest things that I, for the next few shows, I'm gonna just press on.
Yeah, and then one of the things I want to show everybody here as well is just a couple things you're really going to want to familiarize yourself with. The being able to read the volume, things like the MACD and the RSI, being able to get an idea what direction everything is headed in is really, really important. Really important. And another thing to think about too is as volume drops off, you're going to 9 times out of 10 continue the current trend that you are in. And our trend right now is down. However, I also think that pretty soon here we will see the 50 and the 100 MA cross, and we'll be in a position where, thank God, we won't be in a constant downtrend, and we will get into an uptrend. I just don't think it's going to rise as fast as everyone's hoping for throughout Christmas.
No, I don't either. I think we'll get some good kicks, but
so,
I don't think that we'll see a lot until next year, unfortunately. But I mean, the year's gone by so fast, so just keep stacking that cash right now.
So you are what I would call a Verge expert. I mean, you've spent a lot of time looking at Verge. I mean, what are your kind of your thoughts on how Verge mirrors Bitcoin? I know you've talked a lot about how there's a real intense relationship between those two.
I mean, for me personally, what I've noticed, and it doesn't mean that just because I've noticed it that I've acted upon it every single time. I still have a little bit of that cat-like grip on a few of my things, because obviously I have a great position in Verge right now, and every mistake that I make in quick trades, like, all right, cool, I think Bitcoin's gonna go down, I'll, like we were talking about, I'll jump out here. For any reason, if it goes up, I would lose more than I would make. However, if we can assume that we're learning and we're watching this the way that we should be, we can pick up a lot of extra small transactions while we're waiting for it to pick back up. So by the time it does get back up, if we're careful and we're smart, hopefully we can at least, massively increase our position. So for the next run, it'll be, you'll make all the money back, or I'll make all the money back that I've definitely lost by being dumb about how much I've held on to. I think Verge is, what I like about them is that they're kind of the everyone hates them, and the more that I think everyone hates a company, I feel like there's something to be said about that. Any press is press. The good news or bad, they're being talked about. I think that they're waiting on a lot of stuff right now. They've been at 90% on rebasing their code base.
I was going to say they just finished rebasing to Bitcoin Core 1.05, I think, and then they're about to go to the most recent, which is like 1.07 from what I saw when I was just reading about them a little bit. Do you know any more about that?
I personally, I think that they probably have most of it finished. This is just my opinion, for what it's worth. I don't think there's any benefit in launching it right now with the uncertainty in Bitcoin, because if you are a company to launch yourself when Bitcoin could any second drop, you have this great news, but because everyone's, they see your great news, but you're, a pebble in the pond compared to Bitcoin, it is the pond. And so if Bitcoin's going down, even if you have this amazing launch, you're still not gonna make news. So it makes more sense to piggyback on higher trends and to launch stuff like this when we're seeing the green, because you're going to just jump even further. And for anyone that's trying to make money, this is going to make you money.
I'll tell you, man, Verge is a hype machine for sure. I mean, they've got some pretty fervent followers, which is one of the reasons why, whether the argument can be made whether they're a good coin or bad coin or anything or not, I mean, they're going to have movement and they're going to have volume, which is something that I think makes a big difference. And like I've hopped in and out of them. A thing I like about them is anytime Bitcoin goes up 5%, Verge goes up 15. I mean, there's like 3x increments. I mean, I scalped off the top just yesterday, and Bitcoin was up 1.5%, and they were up 5 or 6% when I pulled out. I was so happy to pull out 5%. I mean, just take whatever money you can on something like that. So,
I mean, what's the saying? It's if you make 2% a day. I mean, that's what $1 million in a year or something like that. It's something ridiculous.
No, totally. And it's like I told you, it's about protecting that money once you make it. Number one, and number two, you make $400. You make $400. That's more than a shift at work. If you're able to do, obviously you're gonna have to pay taxes on it, because we all pay our taxes on crypto, kids. Okay, but at the same time,
to pay taxes. I've heard a lot of horror stories about people now that they've passed all these laws just getting absolutely decimated because they didn't have enough money.
Yep, 100%. So nothing else matters except that you make money, whether you hate the project or not. I think is the consensus that we've kind of come to together. It's funny. I mean, people are pretty fanatic about their cryptocurrency. I mean, they are. It's almost like sports teams.
It is. It really is. I mean, and that's the part that I am still learning to deal with is when you're starting off in this, you find so many things that you read about that you have this emotional attachment to as I mean, you have, as I have. I mean, you felt that way about Dent and Kin and Verge. I'm still stuck in Verge. I mean, I would let Verge go, but I refuse to do it until I see some, a few more pennies through it, if that's the case. I think that everything's going to go up astronomically anyways, but making sure that you don't become attached to these coins and only thinking about the pure dollar signs is going to be the most important part if you're in this to make money. If you're an investor, it's completely different. If you're here to make money, you need to realize which ones are doing what, why, and when.
The other thing, too, that I will say that it's really sad to think this, but, I mean, you're still up on your Verge investment where you bought in. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not what you want to be up, but I can guarantee you $1 million of $1 million Verge right now is worth a lot more than $5,000. It's worth a lot more. And it's the other thing with Bitcoin too. All these people crying and moaning, they must have gotten in December or January or something, because the reality is, like I said, Bitcoin was at $1,250 last year. We're sitting at $6 right now, 6,400. I mean, that's like 200% gain. It's more than that. It's like 300% gains. It's outstanding gains on your money. And even though it hurts and everything's compressing, people are still up. If you came in late to the party, you got taken.
If you didn't know what you're doing in the party either, you definitely got taken.
Yeah. But that's why we're here.
Yeah, I think they're going to be good. What I like about them the most, for anyone that is interested in Verge, is, and I mean, take it with a grain of salt, but I think that Bitcoin was founded on the "we don't like the system" attitude. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, no one really knows, but Verge to me is that. Their lead dev, a lot of people hate him. Some people like him. I like that his attitude is just, I don't care what anyone thinks. I'm just going to keep grinding away. At least that's what I'm hoping he's doing. But if that is what he's doing, I like that, because for people that, are in a position where it's like, I'm doing this for the love of it, that's to me what drives the company, is they're doing it for the love of it. It's to get away from the current system we have right now. All these other companies that are coming out, and granted, some of them are phenomenal. I think Kin is really, really intelligent. I think Dent is really intelligent. But it's all based on how much money can we crank through a product, not how can we change the system at its foundation. And for me personally, I dislike the banking system. I would love to see a world where they played less of a role. I don't think we're ever going to see a world where they don't play a massive role. I mean, obviously you need to get loans through some entity, But I don't like too big to fail. I don't like how a lot of this works. And for me, cryptocurrency is kind of an escape into that. If we can find ways to become our own banks, if you're on the other side of the planet, I love to travel to Thailand a lot. If you're anywhere else in the world, I'm in Thailand, I need to send you money. I like knowing that I can click a button and it's to you. I don't have to go through my bank, make sure it's okay, check local laws, see what the taxes are. Is that, there's just too many rules and regulations. And I would rather have less rules and regulations and more freedom. I know that's not the way that most people probably view the world now. Everything is more safety, more security, but it just makes things worse. You can't get anything done. You're getting stuck in a box and trying to get outside of the box. And I
outside
like
of the
that
box.
approach.
And not that it'll be very easy to see here, but for those who haven't seen it, there is some. I mean, we were talking about the Kin app earlier. In fact, I'm just gonna see if I can pull up a nice YouTube version of the Kin app. I would show you on my phone myself, and I will prove it to you that I do have my nice, beautiful Kin app right here. I absolutely love my Kin app.
I don't
But
think I can pull it up on my phone.
yeah, we'll take a look here. I mean, they'll show right here in this video that you go through and they will ask you some survey questions, and you answer those questions, end up rewarding you in Kin, which is really, really exciting. Sometimes I'll have these A and B questionnaires. I know I've been getting a lot of advertisements that I get paid to watch, which is great. I have no problem watching a 30-second video if they're going to pay me in Kin. And then at the end of it, we'll see if this shows us some of the spend options. Yeah, so there's spend options at the end. Right now, you can purchase gift cards. I know the Amazon gift cards are super popular. Some people like the Uber gift cards, the Google Play, if you have a game that you're playing. And I know I'm trying to save up. It's been a little bit tough, but I'm trying to save up for the Airbnb gift card. I think I'm going to...
Same
yeah,
one.
I'm going to go and spend on a hotel, which will be nice. Be a lot of fun to go. I know both of us like to travel a lot. We're both all over the country and around the world on a pretty regular basis. So
yeah, man, I'll be next. I mean, we'll be doing these hopefully a couple of these a week. I would like to do, and then I'll probably be doing them with you from Europe in about a week and a half.
Outstanding. Well, yeah. You are the lucky one, my friend, because it looks like we get you to hook up through your cell phone and you can be in Europe and do this pretty easily. I'm going to have to be at home base for a lot of this stuff, but that'll be fine because we want to have the best user experience possible for the people who tune in, because we're here to have a lot of fun. And it really, I'm going to be pushing hard for Kin and Dent this year. I think that both of them are really, really exciting projects and things that I really will be having keep an eye out for. Between the exchange that Dent's going to come out with and the atomic swap for Kin, I think we're going to see both of those rise substantially more than Bitcoin through the end of the year. And you can mark my words on that. I'll be the one to eat crow if I'm completely wrong. But at the same time, I'll be hurting just as bad as you are, because those are the ones that I really have enjoyed being invested in, and I will stay invested in. So other things that we kind of haven't talked about, Cardano. Do you think it's bottomed out?
Let me pull up my chart really fast. Hold up. Yeah, Cardano. God, it's going to be a good buy soon, just because once it bottoms out, there's nowhere else to go but up. But man, dude, what a free falling stone.
Oh man, it's ugly. It's looking real ugly here. Just there's no let up on this. Nothing. Now, I will tell you.
Yeah, it's almost there. As far as I can see, it's like there or almost there. Maybe.
Did you see that it is at like the most critical resistance point, like almost ever right now? I mean, I don't like to try to catch things at the bottom, but that looks pretty low risk to me when you look over to the left-hand side and see where this thing started taking off. Now, the only other, we break through this resistance point, you're going straight down to, what is that, 829 Satoshi?
No, I got this graph, so you can do 820.
Yeah, around there approximately. I mean,
no, excuse me, 635.
635 at the very, very bottom. Sure. Yeah.
It's pretty much, I think, the very bottom. But just from where it's going, this looks like it Oh, my phone actually is getting on lower power here, so I don't know if my face just disappeared or not.
Your face did just disappear on us. We got to see
Yeah,
you looking all cool with your sunglasses on.
Yeah, the picture was taken actually by an ex-girlfriend when I was sitting in a bar. I was hammered drunk.
I was going to say, I think I see boobies in the reflection of your sunglasses, but that's just me.
I did not take the picture of myself. Let me. You talk to everyone for a second about Cardano. Let me go grab that power thing. One sec.
All right, cool. Just taking a look at the chart here, there is not a lot left to go. You could really eat it on your investment if it decided to go down all the way, but we're also getting pretty darn close to where that bottom's going to be on something like this. I mean, you're going to see some major lines of resistance we are currently at, and then again probably right around here at the probably around 1100 Satoshi mark. And then the absolute worst case doomsday scenario is going to be all the way down here, as we discussed, in the 700 Satoshi area. It's weird to me that the Verge chart is looking a lot better. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, we've kind of covered Cardano, and I believe the only other coin that we've had some discussion about lately is XLM Stellar Lumens. I mean, what are your thoughts on Lumens for the year?
I think Lumens is going to be big. We were talking about what their current processing is for everyone. I think Lumens is going to be big. If they've hit bottom, give me 1 second. I'm trying to get back on my screens here. Of course, when you plug in your Apple phone, your Apple computer, it's, do you trust this? Do you trust that? 18 million codes.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. So, I think it's going to be big. I personally think that it's going to probably be, I would like to hope, and I mean, this is a stretch, but
wow, good volume on Lumens.
Well, in the dollar range, hopefully in the next years. So next year or so.
Wow, actually positive momentum. Just barely positive momentum for XLM Stellar Lumens right now.
Correct. Against everything else, we're looking at a jump up from, 30.55 on Satoshi. Just below, maybe 30.55, 30, yeah, 30.55. Yeah, wow. I mean, it's definitely, I mean, if you look, it's also coming to the edge of its own triangle here. I mean, really everything is going through this same break.
I think it's a great point, man. That's why I think that we're getting ready to see the tides turn a little bit with Bitcoin. Like, I don't expect this major bull run, but this dropping is going to stop, and we're going to go sideways for a while. And some of these alts are going to recover. I mean, you look at the Stellar chart, you look at the Verge chart, and you just see them turning a corner. You just do.
If you look, I mean, you're right with the sideways. If you look at how some of these triangles pan out, I mean, it's like a wavelength. When you're going up and down, as you get further and further along, these wavelengths get smaller, and you're just bouncing off the walls. The next thing you know, it's just like almost flatline. Yep. Before you find you're going sideways. People have time to consolidate, wipe their tears off their faces, find out how they're going to fix their mortgages, and then hopefully see more of this.
Remember that they shouldn't be spending money that they can't afford to lose.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
I know it's exciting and you think you're going to be rich, but again, it's all about protecting yourself. Wealth management. I mean, that's one thing I really wanted to hit home. I mean, you really should not be getting into a trade without having a plan. Where you're going to cut out at, where you're going to take your profits at. And my number one rule that I've been hammering home for you, anytime that something makes over 10 or 20% overnight and you wake up and you made all that money, sell all of it. Sell it.
20%. 20% right now in this market has been the key number. Every time, for me, for most of my stuff, every single time it hits 20%, it'll float. Maybe it hits 23, 24. The only one with the exception of Redcoin the other day. What was going on with that?
Or Dogecoin.
Something percent increase. I mean, that was insane. And still holding it, like, I think I'm still holding at 60% increase, 70% increase. But I mean, otherwise everything I would sell out of. The only time that's not going to maybe apply is going to be when we see this trend.
Yeah.
If Bitcoin explodes the way that I think it's going to explode. Yeah. I mean, those numbers are going to go out the window. You're basically going to be able to just sit tight and hold on and just, buckle up until the top.
Totally. I mean, that's pretty much all I had to cover today. I mean, do you have any closing thoughts on today or any things that you want us to focus on going forward that you think are important?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've put out our email address for the Pinkies Out podcast, but if anyone has anything that they want us to talk about, if there's something that you want to know, please. This is our first one. We're trying to, do a circuit event. Really, there's nothing that we're trying to specifically hit on. I just wanted to kind of speak my mind, see how this went.
Yep.
I know we're trying to make sure that everything's working, but if there's anything that anyone wants to hear about, please email it to us or type it in the comments below. I will spend all the time that I have researching it and figuring it out for you, and I will give you the best advice that I can, even though it's not financial advice. We'll figure out as much as we can. I mean, this is the whole reason for this is to have fun and to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And if we're not learning from each other, then what are we doing?
Exactly.
Especially in this day and age, it's nice just to hear people kind of in the same boat as you are. I mean, if anything, we're all just kind of stroking it at the same speed. It's just like, all right, at least these guys are in the same boat as I am, or at least these girls are in the same boat as I am. I feel better about this. So please, if there's anything that anyone wants to talk about, let us know. I want to make this a really big regular thing, and I'd love to learn with everyone and kind of grow. We're going to definitely introduce wine into this, so you don't just have to listen to cryptocurrency.
Speaking of which, let's cover that really quick. I mean, what are you drinking over there?
Right now, I'm actually, so for my work, I'm trying out a few new. I got a Chianti that I was just drinking, the Lastra, actually pretty tasty. I don't know if you can see that. The camera quality is maybe not as good.
No, it looks great actually. I can read everything.
So for a Chianti, this has been amazing. I mean, bang for buck, this is really, really solid. I think.
Do you know what it runs? 11? Okay.
Yeah, so most of the stuff that I have in my cellar over here, I mean, I love Dariush and Keenan and Mary Edwards and all the super fancy stuff. But what'll be cool is we can talk about some of that stuff during the middle of this to give people, hey, excuse me, I can't talk. I listen to these guys so I can talk about money, and then I also listen so I can look at some wines. Everyone likes to go on dates, and if you don't go on a date with anyone else, you can definitely go on a date with yourself. I do a lot of those. And I can show you what wines you can get for $10-12 that are going to blow your doors in. We can definitely cover that. Hopefully for a few of these, you and I can actually sit down. I know we're across town from each other, but we'll sit down, and I'd like you to taste some too. And we'll just chat. It'll be fun. We'll just hang out. I mean, that's what this is about, right? It's having fun and hanging out.
100%. And then I am super sophisticated with my beer in my wine glass. That's how I obviously like to drink my beer on a regular basis. And I'm actually drinking a local IPA here called Hop Knot. It's probably gonna be a little bit hard for you to see because I've got a smaller screen than he does, but actually they're really good. They actually do have a Four Peaks restaurant as well that the brewery runs. And if you are ever in Arizona and you get an opportunity to check out a Four Peaks Brewing, my personal recommendation is to go get the blackened salmon BLT, which is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's so absolutely stellar. But if you get an opportunity and you ever see some Four Peaks beers, they are very, very good. Hop Knot is one of my favorites that they make. I'm a big IPA guy. It's very hoppy. If you look, they did win the World Beer Cup Gold Award in 2012, the World Beer Cup Bronze Award in 2006, and the Great American Beer Festival Bronze 2006, 2011, and Silver in 2013. Very hoppy, very fresh. A little bit of maltiness to it, but not over the top. I'm not a huge malt guy, so I find it very, very good. And outstandingly, not to rep my local supermarket, but I believe they did have a manufacturer's coupon that I just used, and I got $6 off 2 12-packs. It ended up being $1 a beer. I think I spent $20 and got, what is that, 24 beers? I mean, just outstanding sale. So that's why I'm drinking Hop Knot right now.
Dude, I mean that pretty much sums it up better than I could have. I mean, that's awesome. Yeah, for anyone out there that likes to talk about booze, want to know what's good, you want to kind of jump in that pool too. We'll jump in that pool too. I would love to talk about wine, beer, alcohol. I mean, that's a profession right now. So hey. I mean, that goes to show you also that it doesn't really matter what your profession is or what your career is. I mean, if you're, you can also invest into cryptocurrency as well.
100%. And you know what? We're all in this together. We're all here to have a good time. If you can think of anything that you want to talk about, whether it's wine, beer, anything else that you can drink with your pinky out, or cryptos, leave a note in the comments, send us an email, do as much research as we can, featured on the show. It's really excited to introduce ourselves to all of you, and we hope to have you come back and spend a lot of time with us. With that, I think we'll turn around and sign out, and I hope that Y'all have a wonderful day.
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much.
And
I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out.
We manifest so much success, so much excess. Might just take a trip to rest. On private jets, got our own private chef. We never stress, reaching for the check, sign it with our breath. We came to live it up, cause we might just live this like once. So we ain't stacking them ones. Finer things, diamonds in. It's glisten when I listen. So everything I hear is coming in crystal clear. It's the attitude of gratitude in abundance. Attracting bundles of hunters, the new #1 stunners. Caviar in our stomachs, reservoir our funds done runneth over. And it just keep coming, that don't even do it justice. Miss some haters in our rose-colored aviators. We don't read the daily paper, compound like 80 acres. Everything we do is major, nature boy like Ric Flair. Wager you would do the same after you had been
I
there.
got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. We can make it rain, dropping dollars from an airplane. Roadies on our wrists, living life in the fast lane. Popping lots of champagne, girlies on our laps, man. Tugging at our gold chains and trying to eat our plantain. You know we got rocks, gold stash like it's Fort Knox. Started life with hard knocks, but now we own about 4 blocks. Gator shoes with no socks, sailboats at 8 docks. Markets close at 4 o'clock, but we keep making non-stop. Make money, money, make money, money. We travel so damn much, every day is sunny. Wake up in Bali, goddamn I'm feeling lucky. As we end the night in Hong Kong, drinking bourbon from Kentucky. Never fearing death, cause we live a charmed life. Always outsmart all these haters, cause we keep our game tight. As we travel around the world like a satellite. And we keep the party going like every single night. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much money. I got so much money, never runs out. I got so much money that I lost count. I got so much money in my bank account. I got so much money, so much